Wow. So that blew up. Yo peeps, how's it going? My name is Willie the Cryptid, just thought I'd remind you, and you all actually really liked my last video, so clearly you want more. I hope you liked it because it was an editorial and not because it was a book, because we're not doing a book today. Maybe I'll do more books in the future. I would like to cover Origami Yoda, that series is very underrated, but not today. Today we're covering a topic that is very near and dear to my heart, a topic that's been with me since I was about 12 years old. A topic I swear I saw in my single-player creative world. None of you can tell me I did.
Next you're going to be telling me that Herobrine is here, and everyone knows that he doesn't exist. He doesn't exist, right?
What? And Herobrine's here!
What do you mean Herobrine's here?
He's here!
What?
It's me, the great Herobrine. Jeff, you invited us onto this server just so you can pretend to be Herobrine?
Herobrine does exist. My best friend Max said he saw him once when we were playing on a really old Minecraft world together. And I might have seen him too, but it could have been a sheep, but I'm not sure. And anyway, it doesn't matter because Max saw him, and Max would never lie to me because he's my best friend.
Don't doubt Herobrine!
It's Herobrine, Minecraft's most popular creepypasta and one of the most well-known internet legends to exist. Would you believe that my first exposure to Herobrine was someone playing a map that was a boss battle against Herobrine? The Herobrine in question was actually just a wolf structure that would periodically shoot out arrows, and after a certain amount of time passed, the structure would catch on fire and burn away. Yet, I was still captivated. Why did Steve have white eyes? Why was he evil? I had to learn more. This led me down a huge rabbit hole that lasted years. Photos, stories, maps, mods, and most prominently, YouTube videos. Many of them hold a special place in my heart, such as Monster School and Living with Herobrine. But there's a single creation that to this day has a special throne in my brain, where it rules as the king of all Herobrine content. The subject of today's video. Rejected Shotgun's The Haunting series. Or is it The Haunted? You know, I've always called it The Haunting, so that's what we're gonna call it. Now, let's start with the first two episodes in the series. The back-to-back Minecraft roleplays that started it all. I'd love to do the entire series this video, but with how long the series is, that just won't be possible. And the rest of the series will have to be their own separate videos. But be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see those videos soon. The Haunting, a Minecraft roleplay. In February 18th, 2012, the year the Earth was supposed to blow up, but didn't because the Mayans were a bunch of liars, a YouTube channel called Rejected Shotgun uploaded the video, The Haunting, a Minecraft roleplay. It features two individuals, Drake and Armin. I think they're brothers, but I'm not sure if it's ever outright stated in the first two episodes whether they're related or just friends. They had just recently bought a new house, and strange happenings start to occur. We start at night 1. Wait, night 1? Five Nights at Freddy's reference? Probably not, since FNAF came out 2 years after this. Night 1. So anyways, we start with night 1, where we're greeted to a loud air conditioner jump scare. Yeah, the audio in these first two episodes isn't the greatest due to the background noise, but honestly, I think it kind of works in the video's favor. It just adds to the nostalgic yet eerie feel. Drake wakes up in the middle of the night and wakes up Armin to make him a midnight snack. As they come out to the kitchen, we get our first look at the house. It's mostly made of oak planks with glass windows and vines all over the place. To be honest, the place looks kind of crap. The two start eating some ham sammies, and we get our first look at Herobrine, who's watching them through a nearby window, like a creep. Drake says he saw something outside the window right as Herobrine runs out of view. Drake sees Herobrine a few more times, brushing it off as either a lack of sleep or just a skeleton wandering around outside, because skeletons are well known for flying around at incredible speeds. Armin then says he saw something outside his window, and they look outside where they see the most old-school Minecraft player village I've ever seen. They mention how they bought the house recently for 5 diamonds, which must be a lot from the way they talk about it. Personally, I think they got scammed. I wouldn't pay a single diamond for this trash heap, let alone 5. They come back inside to find that their bedrooms are now boarded off by oak planks. We get one of the best line deliveries in the whole series.
It took me forever to fix these stairs. I'm pissed.
Before they break down the wood and get back to their bedrooms. Drake sees skeletons and XP orbs outside his window. Apparently skeletons aren't out of the ordinary, but he acts like he's never seen XP orbs before, saying that they're spirits or something. They both see Herobrine and start freaking out, with Armin going out to investigate whilst Drake notices the apples are falling from the hole in the ceiling. Remember this, it comes back a lot throughout the series. They reason that the apples must be falling from a tree outside. Armin comes back inside before a zombie breaks down the door, causing the two to hide in their bedrooms. The zombie starts bashing on the door to the basement before suddenly dying. Armin looks outside their bedroom doors and says they saw something flying, to which Drake says there's no flying mobs. Just wait 7 months for the pretty scary update, kid. They soon notice the sun is coming up, ending the night. Night 2. We see Drake is alone in the house, looking outside his window, before Armin comes in and gives a big woohoo, saying they repaired his sword at the sword repair shop down the street. Very specific kind of establishment, but whatever. Drake starts fixing the windows and doors broken the night before as they notice more apples falling through the hole in the ceiling. They go to their bedrooms and try to go to sleep before seeing Herobrine outside the window again, and it suddenly starts raining. Armin then mentions that he went to the library earlier and looked up stuff about hauntings in hopes of figuring out what's going on. Armin then says that the figure they're seeing is named Herobrine, but his original name was Colin. Before he could explain, though, he's interrupted by the sound of the front door opening by itself. They see a pumpkin on a stack of wood blocking their door. Drake says it was probably the work of a griefer, and seeing it actually calms him down a bit. Armin gets his diamond armor, just in case, as Drake notices Herobrine flying through the hole in their ceiling the apples kept falling from. Armin comes back with his diamond armor before they both notice that the basement door is open, even though neither of them remember opening it. Armin then says,
Story of Herobrine. It's true then, the book of Herobrine.
Armin starts calling out Colin's name and tells him to do something if he's there. Now, I don't know much about ghosts or whatever Herobrine's supposed to be in this context, but I think the last thing you'd want to do is tell them to do something, especially one that's been doing all this creepy stuff. For once, nothing happens. Drake goes down to the basement with Armin following close behind, but just sees a bunch of dirt. However, he does also see a torch that they don't remember placing. The door to the basement is blocked behind them, trapping them. With nothing to do but wait, Drake and Armin sit down as Armin starts telling Drake the story of Herobrine, saying that his name was originally Colin, but then he got corrupted by something. Before we hear what caused his corruption, they hear a strange noise and go to investigate. They find that they are no longer trapped in the basement, finding an apple and a lava bucket in place of the barricade that trapped them down there. They then see Herobrine staring at them from the window, to which Armin starts calling out to Colin again. Herobrine leaves as the sun starts to rise, but suddenly comes back and does more spooky stuff, like dropping TNT from a hole in the roof and splashing bottles of enchanting on the floor. Armin starts coughing violently. I'm not sure if that was part of the video or just unscripted. Armin then tells Drake that whatever he does, to never say the words sacred diamonds. With that done, Drake decides to take a nap, ending night 2. Night 3. Drake is looking out the window and sees Herobrine fly by, at which point he starts yelling for Armin. Armin comes inside the house and says he brought a book from the library. They decide to get some apples from the kitchen to calm their nerves until Drake mentions smelling something burning. They think it's coming from the basement and go down into it to find the source. They then discover a hole that's both brightly lit yet pitch black at the same time. They notice the hole is patched up with wood, and Armin mentions it being the work of a repairman he hired. He also mentions the repairman going into the basement to fix the holes and never coming back out, which totally sounds normal and not something you'd question at all. Drake says the repairman could be behind the wood covering the hole and convinces Armin to get an axe to break down the wood planks. Armin gets an axe and breaks it down, revealing a door. They enter the door, finding themselves in a cave, only for the door behind them to catch fire, trapping them. They travel through the cave as they come across more doors that are attached to a stone brick structure. They enter the structure, only for their way back to get blocked yet again. They find a nearly bottomless staircase lit up by redstone torches and, seeing no other options, decide to head down it. They arrive in a cave down at the bedrock layer where the area is filled with fog. They come across a hole that seems to go past bedrock and drop right into the void. More fire appears, blocking their way again. Armin then pulls out the Book of Herobrine, which he says he got at the library. He tries to read it, but the smoke from the fire makes it too hard to read. He read a bit of the book earlier, though, and says he remembers the book saying that everything will go bad if you ever mention sacred diamonds or Colin, both of which they've been saying repeatedly this whole time, especially Armin. They see Herobrine staring at them from behind the fire, blocking their path, and Drake jumps over the bottomless pit to escape, with Armin following right after. They find 3 blocks of diamond ore lit up by redstone torches, to which Armin says those are the sacred diamonds mentioned in the book. Armin then tries to mention something about an ancient burial ground before arrows start shooting at them from the darkness, and they see Herobrine staring at them. They both start panicking as Drake says this has to be a dream, whilst Armin starts saying sacred diamonds over and over again, probably just trying to piss off Herobrine before he kills them. Armin then remembers that the book had a way to break Herobrine's curse if they did something with the sacred diamonds. He turns to that page before his arm suddenly moves on its own as if it's possessed and chucks the book into a nearby fire. As Armin starts insulting and taunting Herobrine, since it's all he can do in retaliation at this point, Drake gets hit by some arrows, wounding him badly. Armin then says he found something, leading Drake to the bottomless pit. Armin swears he saw something in the pit before he looks back and yells that there's something behind Drake. When Drake turns around, there's nothing there, and we hear Armin scream. When Drake turns back around to look at Armin, we see that Armin is gone, likely having fallen into the void.
Something's... Dude, behind you! Dude, behind you! Armin! Oh god, Armin. Suddenly...
Drake is now completely alone. As the arrow wounds take their toll on Drake, he sits down next to the sacred diamonds. Then, some apples fall from a hole in the ceiling above. A voice whispers something, but the bad audio quality makes it hard to hear. It was either kill yourself or no use now. Drake asks if Armin is there, but just hears the whispery voice moan eerily in response. Drake goes to the bottomless pit again, looking down into it, before turning around and seeing Herobrine. Herobrine pushes Drake into the pit, causing Drake to scream as he falls into the void. The video ends with the words, "In memory of Drake and Armin." But Drake and Armin were not killed, because literally the next day, on February 19th, 2012, Rejected Shotgun released The Haunting Second Life. We begin with seeing Drake awaken in a strange cave that looks like someone's been living inside of it. He then notices some signs on the wall and reads them. "Today I met a man in the jungle. He is friendly. I told the man of him, and he understood. We talked of him, and I explained the temples. He understood that too. Together, maybe we can fight alongside and destroy Herobrine. Help."
He must have died while carving it.
Drake then looked outside the cave to see a very foggy jungle. He then spots Herobrine out in the fog and freaks out, running back into the cave. We then see Armin whistling to himself as he arrives at the cave Drake found himself in. Armin asks Drake how he got there, to which Drake asks Armin the same question. Armin says that after he fell in the void in the last video, he woke up in this cave and met a strange old man who, according to him, was really cool. Drake explains what happened to him at the end of the last video before Armin tells him that it's been a month since he's seen him last. Armin also explains that when he first met the old man said that he's been there for a month too. So it appears that each person that's teleported to this strange land always arrives a month after the person before them did. Drake asks about the signs, specifically the temples, and Armin says that the temples hold the sacred you-know-whats, explaining that they need to go into each one and retrieve them to stop Herobrine. Thankfully, the old man gave Armin a map to the temples. They leave as soon as they can to find the temples, as Armin explains that the old man he met died fairly recently, and that he never even got his name before he was lost. Also, for some reason, Armin calls skeletons skeletrons? When younger me watched this, he assumed this meant the skeletons in this area were actual robots or were stronger than regular skeletons in some way. But nope, he just names them after a Terraria boss for some reason. It's especially strange because in the last video he just called them skeletons like normal, but whatever. They traverse through the jungle, reaching a spot where the jungle, desert, and snow biomes all connect. At the center of the 3 biomes is a stone brick structure with 3 glass windows. Armin says this isn't one of the temples and tells Drake that they need to keep going. He also states that each of the 3 biomes has a temple in it. They head into the snow biome first, finding a temple made of snow. They go through the temple's entrance only to see Herobrine appear behind them, causing them to get scared and run deeper into the temple. They fall into an underground lake and find a secret passage underwater, leading them to some stairs that opened up while they were going down them, causing them to fall down into a pit. They wake up in a snowy corridor and find a pressure plate. Armin steps on it and one of the sacred diamonds drops from a dispenser on the wall, with Armin catching it. They accidentally say sacred diamonds before suddenly waking up in the cave that Armin first arrived in. At first they wondered if they hallucinated everything, but then realized that Armin still has the sacred diamond they got from the Snow Temple. They decided to head for the Jungle Temple next, traversing the foggy jungle. They reach a chasm they can't see the bottom of, but traverse down it to find a lake. Next to the lake is the entrance to the Jungle Temple. They enter and see a chest straight ahead, but there's a huge pool of lava between them and the chest. Drake says both he and Armin are pros at parkour and that they can jump over that lava pit. Armin seems confused by this claim, as Drake then remembers that it wasn't Armin who he practiced parkour with, so Drake might have a secret parkour pal we don't know about. They jump at the same time, but end up falling into the lava below, only for them to land on their feet without getting burned. They find themselves in a cave and look around, soon reaching a mine shaft. They find a chest and find the sacred diamond inside. As they grab it, Herobrine appears and starts chasing them. Drake and Armin reach a dead end, where they try to remember how they teleported back to the cave last time. They then remember that they said sacred diamonds right before teleporting. They both say sacred diamonds repeatedly as Herobrine appears, pointing a bow at them. Right before he gets a chance to shoot them, Drake and Armin teleport to the cave again. They again travel through the jungle, which is now noticeably less foggy. Perhaps the sacred diamond's presence in the jungle temple was what caused the fog? Armin gives Drake a sword, telling him that he'll probably need it later. Armin also mentions that he strangely never saw Herobrine before Drake showed up. They soon arrive at the desert temple, where they hear strange noises coming from inside. The entrance to the temple is filled with sand that they start digging through. As they reach the other side, they find a maze filled with blazes of magma cubes. Wandering through the maze, they find a ladder and climb it, reaching a large room with flaming pillars and a basin of water at the center. They see Herobrine for a moment before he disappears. They find a dispenser holding the final sacred diamond. Armin grabs it, meaning that they now had all three. Suddenly, there's an explosion happening around the temple as it just begins crumbling to the ground. They run back to the stone brick structure, with Armin saying it's where they need to take the 3 sacred diamonds. They reach it and break the 3 windows, revealing a pressure plate behind each one. They put a sacred diamond on each pressure plate and waited for something to happen. Nothing happens. Suddenly there's an explosion sound and everything goes black. Armin wakes up Drake, telling him they figured out what they need to do. Armin takes him to the stone brick structure, showing that placing the diamonds on the pressure plates revealed a secret passage on the roof of the structure. They fall down and reach a stone corridor with a chest holding diamond gear. They retrieve the gear and start heading through the corridor, rushing past booby traps as they go. They find a minecart track and ride down it. It ends at a hallway that the two begin walking down. As the two are going down the hallway, they see a fire on the other side of the corridor. Armin says they just need to put that fire out and Herobrine's curse will end. As Armin runs down the hall, a stone wall appears between him and Drake, separating them. Drake manages to break down the stone wall and heads towards the fire, but before he can reach it, the floor opens up and he falls into a small room with a nether portal in it. Seeing no other options, Drake jumps in. Drake arrives in the nether, seeing Armin there as well. They're in a huge nether brick arena with Herobrine floating ominously. Arrows start flying out of the dispensers along the walls and mobs start spawning to attack them. The portal that brought them here is deactivated, trapping them here. They see Herobrine is in a dome on the ceiling, watching them struggle as they fight through the hordes of mobs whilst dodging arrows. They find TNT and use it to blast a hole in the nether arena's walls, running out of the arena and into the wastes of the nether, fighting off ghasts as they flee. They say the nether is Herobrine's world, so he's at his strongest in this dimension. Herobrine appears, coming to attack them. Armed with their diamond swords, Drake and Armin fight back in a 2v1 duel. Miraculously, after just a few hits, Herobrine dies. His stuff drops on the ground and they pick it up. Drake and Armin conclude that if Herobrine's dead, then maybe they can go back to the arena and relight the portal. They reach the arena and look for a way to reactivate the portal, but can't seem to find anything. Realizing they're stranded in this hellish landscape, they take solace in knowing they've sacrificed themselves to kill Herobrine once and for all. Spoiler alert, there's like 20 more episodes of this series, he's definitely coming back. Then there's an explosion and Herobrine comes back, called it. They theorize that he must be invincible while in the nether, but he might be vulnerable in the overworld. For some reason, Herobrine lights the portal and jumps in, with Drake and Armin following shortly behind. Drake and Armin realize they're still trapped in the small room they fell into earlier before going into the portal, but then notice some redstone that they can break, causing the ceiling above them to open up again. They try to climb their way out, but are interrupted by Herobrine appearing again and blowing up the room they were in with TNT. Drake and Armin miraculously survive before attacking Herobrine, killing him again with a few slashes from their diamond swords. They say it probably won't work because he always comes back, and decided to travel through a nearby mineshaft to find a way out. As they split up to look for resources to make some tools, we hear Armin yell in the distance. Drake runs to where he last saw Armin, only for Armin to be gone. Suddenly, Drake and Armin wake up in a grassy field with a single sign that says, "You can never escape your fate." There's a massive explosion and everything goes black. Drake finds himself on an obsidian platform, standing before a bloody Herobrine sitting atop a throne. Armin can be seen in a net of cobwebs that are slowly lowering him into a pool of lava. We then hear Herobrine speak for the first time.
You must choose like every mortal must at one point in their existence. Death now, or life with eternal punishment. If you choose death now, your friend will suffer forever. But if you choose life and torture eternally, your friend may die now and never have to suffer.
Drake looks at Armin before looking back at Herobrine and saying,
Herobrine, I choose eternal punishment.
Everything goes black. The credits roll. Ooh, I got chills from that. One thing I really like about these episodes, and the series in general, is their interpretation of Herobrine. For the most part, Herobrine doesn't do much directly. He mostly just toys with them for the most part, using traps and illusions, whilst being seen either in the distance or only for a few seconds at a time. It's when they get too close to finding things out about him, or just when they piss him off, that he starts escalating things. Yet, when he does, you still don't see Herobrine directly doing most of it. Fires appear out of nowhere, exits are blocked off when you look away from them, strange creatures appear in places they shouldn't be. These things are definitely his doing, but it's not immediately obvious. These aren't things you see Herobrine doing himself. It's almost as if Herobrine is some omnipresent force that just subtly changes things around you to force you into doing what he wants you to do. The two episodes also seem to have some strange implications. At first I thought the house had some connection to Herobrine, a thought that was strengthened by the fact that it was built on top of the Sacred Diamonds, and that the local library has a book on him. However, it seems that may not be the case, as when he pushes Drake and Armin down the hole, they just reappear in a new land that has almost nothing to do with the house. Not to mention, the Sacred Diamonds are now in the temples, when we clearly saw them unharvested in the cave under the house. Are one of these sets of diamonds fake? Did Herobrine move them when he sent Drake and Armin to the Strange Land? Is the Strange Land actually years into the future after someone's mined the Sacred Diamonds and placed them in these temples? Speaking of the temples, they seem rather out of place as well. We don't really see any signs of who built them or how long they've been there. Clearly they were built to protect the Sacred Diamonds, but was it to keep people from getting them, or was it to stop Herobrine from retrieving them? I don't think Herobrine would have built them, because if he did, then why have them all in such close proximity to the shrine that can be used to stop him if all three Sacred Diamonds are brought to it? Plus, Herobrine has near godlike powers, so making temples with just a few booby traps seems a little redundant when he could just make them impossible to get to, or just protect the diamonds himself. On top of that, it seems like the temples may have some kind of force that keeps Herobrine from entering them. With the exception of the Desert Temple, we never see Herobrine enter any of the temples until after the Sacred Diamond from that temple had been retrieved. Could the Sacred Diamonds be somehow powering the temples and giving them a way to keep Herobrine out? One more thing that also doesn't make sense is, why does Herobrine help Drake and Armin sometimes? In the first episode, he's clearly the one dropping apples into their house through the hole in the ceiling. You could say he's trying to be creepy or something, but I'm not so sure. Also, whenever he tosses Drake and Armin into the void, Drake and Armin reawaken in a land that has what's allegedly the one way to stop him. On top of that, why did Herobrine light the Nether portal again and go back into the overworld? If he's strongest in the Nether, then there's no reason to give himself a disadvantage. And finally, what was up with that deal he made with Drake? From the wording Herobrine used, it seems like Drake had to choose who would live a torturous existence forever, and who would simply die painlessly. He chose Armin to die and for him to live in eternal punishment, but what does that entail? Well, we have approximately 19 more entries to find out, 22 if you count the spin-offs and that one teaser trailer that I'm definitely lumping in with the rest of the series. I think that's all I have time for today. In the next video I make on this topic, I'll hopefully be able to cover the 5-part continuation, The Haunting 3: Legend of Herobrine. It's quite a bit longer, so it might take a while. I don't want to split it into multiple parts since I'll definitely have to do that for the 4th entry in the series, but depending on how long and detailed it is, I may have to anyways. With all that said, what did you all think of the first 2 Haunting episodes? Did you watch them when you were younger? Are you just discovering them now? What's your thoughts on this interpretation of Herobrine? Tell me all your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and also click that bell thing to see what that does, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye peeps!